So I've been making videos for just over 3 years now, and it all started at the end of July in 2021 when Chris Chan was arrested. And I remember when it happened, we had Ethan Ralph's footage of the entire event, but other than that, you weren't able to see too much of it up close and personal and see what Chris was saying to these police officers as he's going through probably the most traumatic event of his life right after making his mother go through the most traumatic event of hers. As you were going to see, in the beginning, Chris is very confused, but as time goes on, he starts yucking it up with the police, talking about the sauna chews and this and that, and it's a pretty interesting watch, I'm not gonna lie. This video was released on the EWU body cam footage channel, and it'll be linked in the description below. It's about an 18-minute, very well documented video, and today we're gonna look at the highlights, and I'm gonna show you guys the moment it happened, the moment Chris was sent away to jail for 2 long years. And it seems like such a far ways away, and it's been 3 years, but it's so wild that we finally have this footage now and we can actually see what happened there and then that day. So with that being said, let's go back to the moment they opened up that door and watch it from there.
Hello.
Yes.
Hi, what's your name?
Hi, I'm Christine Chandler.
Okay, can you come out for a second?
What's the situation?
What's that? You got a warrant for your arrest, all right? Yep. Yep.
Okay.
You're not gonna stop. You're not gonna do that. Do not fight. You will get tased.
Okay, well, listen, I will comply, but I'd like to clear up I'd like to come back with my things.
We'll get that all straight. Yeah, we'll get it all straight.
And what about my van? And I'd like to put my shoes on, please.
Yeah, sure, of course. We'll get there.
Okay.
So initially, Chris starts to fight off the officers a little bit, and I mean, he's not putting too much effort into it. I think he's just struggling, trying to do anything he can to not get them cuffs on him, but they do inform him that he will be tased if he doesn't stop, and of course, he stops. And one other really funny thing to point out there is that there was a rumor, and I don't even know if it was just a rumor or someone who actually went to the court proceedings and heard this, but back when Chris went to one of his first court dates after getting arrested, and it was said that at that court date, Chris had told the judge that he's fine to comply with everything and go to jail if he has to, but first he needs to go home and get some stuff. Like, I have some things I need to get, probably some Nintendo Switch games, probably the most important of my sauna chew materials, and it's such an asinine thing to think of anybody saying, but when you see it here in the body cam footage, I mean, he's even doing it to the cops, so I imagine Chris would easily do it to a judge as well. He thinks they're just gonna let him go, alright, we'll let the handcuffs off for a little bit, you go fix up your bag, get everything packed up, and then you bring all your luggage to the cop car and we'll send you off to jail.
Alright. You're just being detained right now until I can confirm the warrants, okay? Sit down right here.
Okay, I will sit down.
Okay. Where are your shoes? Right here?
Right over there.
Is there anyone else in the room with you?
Uh,
Is there anybody else in the room?
Spirit, well, interdimensionally, you
No.
can't tangibly see
A
them.
physical person. Is there a physical person in the room with you?
Originating from this universe, no.
Okay, good.
I need to stand with my shoes on. I don't have any easier time doing it this way. I am complying,
I know.
and that's my son. That's my set of keys over
I know.
there.
Your keys to your car?
Keys to the van, and yeah, my wallet's in my bag over there, the brown bag.
What, this bag?
Yes.
Can I look in it?
And you grab something. Oh, that's one of my rings.
I know. Can I look through? Can I get your bag out of your...
I have nothing to hide. Go ahead and look through everything that's in the room.
Go ahead and look at everything that's in the room.
Go ahead. You have my permission.
Okay.
Just slip them on. They're going to give you flip-flops when you get down to the jail.
Okay, well, I identify as female, and I would appreciate if I was respected as such. It even says so on my driver's license, female.
Okay.
That's fine.
Just making sure.
So I went back to listen just to make sure, because I was wondering, did they actually misgender Chris here to where he had to tell them, hey, I identify as a female, it says it on my driver's license and all that? No, according to this recording here, they didn't. However, maybe they cut it out and they did, but the point I'm trying to make is this. I'm 99% sure the reason Chris snapped his head around and made sure to tell them that he identifies as a female is because when he heard the words jail, the first thought was, oh, well, they better send me to an all-women's one. As we know now, with hindsight being 2020 and it being 3 years later, Chris did not end up in that all-women's prison. He was just in his own cell, chilling on a prayer rug every day for the next 2 years. But in this moment right here, Chris seemingly had a glimmer of hope that he would go to that women's prison. And again, knowing what we know now, that hope was swiftly taken away from him.
Where's your wallet at?
Oh,
Don't come over here.
It's a duct tape. the duct tape wallet.
On the
Okay.
outside?
Here it is.
No.
Okay.
Alright, let's grab a seat.
Okay.
No, grab a seat right there for me.
Oh, my bad.
Do you want all this to go with you? Like your wallet? Or you just want your ID to go with you and your cell phone?
Yeah, my wallet and my cell phone is over there in front of the tarot deck box.
Yeah, I got a cell phone right here.
Oh, that's my secondary phone.
That's your secondary phone?
Yeah, I have two phones, one for the trolls and one for my home. I got two phones, one for the bullies and one for my friends. You think I need two phones? There's a song.
Yeah, Kevin Gates.
There you go.
Yeah.
Hey, listen to this music guy.
Nah, that's a popular one. He's a fine gentleman.
It is popular.
So honestly, the last thing I expected in this body cam footage was Chris singing his own variation of Two Phones by Kevin Gates. They then tell Chris, oh, we know that song, it's a popular one. It was more popular 5 years previous to this event right here, but nonetheless, Chris is a little bit late with the times. The cops are now they're having some fun with this. You can hear them laughing their asses off at some points, but you gotta remember, to them, they just think this is another run-of-the-mill crazy dude who did something terrible, and they don't know the whole backstory to Chris's world, as you're about to see very soon now. So when Chris talks about his friends and the bullies and breaks down into song, they're just really amused because they've never seen this before. Pretty soon, Chris starts talking about how he's internet famous or infamous and he has a lot of trolls and people who follow him and his every move, and the cops kind of just play this off and go, yeah, well, we're recording you too right now, ha ha ha. They really don't understand the gravity of the situation, but they soon will when a guntish cackle is heard from beyond the parking lot.
Are you waiting for someone to come to your room or something?
Wow. No, I was not. I was only waiting for the deputy that I talked with earlier today from the sheriff's office in Rutgersville.
Okay. Alright. You're not waiting for anybody else though? Any friends or anything?
I have nobody else.
The only reason I'm asking you is because there's a car up there and there's two gentlemen staring at us.
Really?
Yeah. I didn't know if you were waiting for someone to come over or whatever.
Yeah, see? Yeah, I stand up. I just want to look out.
Sure.
I was not waiting for anybody. I was not waiting.
They're standing up there by the gas station. You know those people?
That's curious.
I'm just asking. I don't want anyone rolling up on me.
Okay, well, I would say question them because I am famous and infamous on the internet, so they may be video recording.
Cool.
So,
I'm recording you as well.
well, that's. I figured that much.
So you talked to the Green County Sheriff's Office today?
Yes.
Did they call you or did you reach out to them?
I reached out to them. I
Okay.
wanted to make sure my dog and cats back at home were safe and taken care of.
I guess, so the warrant itself is not a surprise. You know there was an investigation, all that.
Yes,
Okay,
there was
got
an
it.
investigation. Yes, I am
Okay.
aware of the situation.
Okay.
At one point there, Chris brings up that he had called the police department because he wanted somebody to check on his dogs and his, whatever, his animals at the house, and that's all well and good, Chris is not a neglectful owner, I guess, but it's really wild when you consider that there is a living, breathing human being also in that house, that being his 80-year-old mother, who he is not even worried about, seemingly. And what's really crazy is, in the body cam footage, it's barely brought up. In the video itself by the narrator, it's barely brought up. If you were watching this video, you really wouldn't have that good of an idea on what Chris is even being accused of. What did this guy even do? I don't think they really, even bring it up until the last few seconds or so. So it's kind of wild here because the idea of Barb in this video is kind of just non-existent. Chris doesn't give a shit about her. They're not talking about her much, and really when it boils down to it, this whole situation, everything that's going on right here, it all ties back to Barbara Chandler because she is the victim in this situation. It's just kind of crazy how it's barely ever brought up.
So just so you're aware, right now we're just confirming the warrant through Greene County, okay? That's why I said you're detained. Once they say that
Okay, copy, look out.
once they say the paper's in hand, the actual arrest warrant, then you're gonna be under arrest, okay? Okay. Well, you didn't at first, but I'm glad you did.
It caught me off guard a little bit.
Yeah, that was kind of the point a little bit.
I need a moment.
Okay.
Pardon my flatulence.
So you want to take your necklaces off and stuff like that, or?
Because you're gonna take them off when you get.
Yeah, you gotta take them off when you get to the jail.
Okay, but the
Since they're not, the only thing they were allowed are like crosses for like religion.
Okay, well, if I may speak, the statue-shaped medallion, the big yellow thing at the bottom there, that is my cross. So
Okay, I don't know if they'll allow that one.
Yeah.
it protects me greatly. So that I am willing to take off the other two, but I really need the medallion.
Okay, well, I'm just letting you know that when you get down to the jail, if you go to jail, once the warrants are confirmed, that you may not be able to keep it. Okay? Just letting you know.
All right, but that is my cross.
Okay.
Let that go on the record. The statue medallion.
Yeah, Officer Christian will tell him.
Chris is basically imploring to these cops that he needs to have that Sonichu medallion no matter what. You can even hear him there say, I'm willing to take off the other two, which basically, which implies that he is not willing to take off that one. And it's wild because Chris is somebody who, if you've ever followed his story, he's never been good with having to answer to people, having to follow rules, having to do what he's told. And when the trolls would always try to get him to take off that medallion, he would so confidently stick his nose in the air and go, this is never coming off. And so when the cops are here telling him, oh yeah, that thing's coming off, Chris is he doesn't know what to do. You see how panicked he is right there. Because in his mind, I feel like that medallion really does, to him, it protects him. So them telling him that he can't have it's kind of fucking with his head a lot. He tells him that he really needs it, but he doesn't understand that no inmate gets to keep stuff like that. Maybe a little crucifix or something like that for your religion, but this Sonichu mumbo jumbo, it's not a religion, and we don't know what you could be hiding in that Crayola model magic. So yeah, it's coming off and it's not going with you in jail. And that's where the new one came into play. I don't know if you guys saw the new Sonichu medallion Chris made while in jail, where he used mustard to color it yellow. So he made sure to make a makeshift one until he got out. But now it's finally time to get Chris out of the hotel room and take him down to the police cars. And as previously mentioned, the cops are about to really get thrown off by what's about to happen here. Because in their minds, Chris is just some dude spewing a bunch of nonsense about being famous on the internet. But the second they start walking down that little hallway on the way to the cop car, things become very clear that Chris was telling the truth the entire time.
On that, this way.
I'm gonna stay recording while we get to the vehicles in case these people address us.
Okay. You don't know any of these people?
I do not know those people, and
Okay.
yeah, those are trolls. They're following me from the internet. Do not report this. Christian, listen. See?
Don't.
Followers.
I think that's real.
Oh my God, what is this? What is happening right now?
This is going to be trending on the internet. They're going to post this online.
Though this prediction comes close, the footage will go even more viral than Chris imagines.
The second that the words Chris Chan came out of Ethan Ralph's mouth, these cops knew exactly that, oh my God, it's real. He really does have a bunch of people following him here. At the end of the clip there, you can see Chris really prophesizing how big this is about to get, that, oh, this is going to be all over the internet. And as the narrator in the video brought up, yeah, it's a little bit of an understatement. But then he gets to the cop car, and now it's the part of the video that we've seen for the past 3 years, at least from Ethan Ralph's perspective. You can now hear what the cops are saying the whole time, and again, they are just so perplexed by this entire situation. And that's really I feel like that's the big takeaway from this, is just the cops and how they handled this. They handled it pretty goddamn well, but they are just... you know this is going to be something they tell their friends and family about for years to come, because despite seeing a bunch of crazy shit happening on the streets each and every day, this could take the cake for one of the most wacky.
I wasn't convinced that those were internet fans, but that confirms it.
There you go. I mean, Google Chris Chan or Sonichu, and there you go. I've been infamous and famous.
Oh, look at that. Coming out of the woodwork.
Good, I just saw you.
Where'd you see him at? Regency.
I'm going.
the mall?
I'm complying. I am complying. I am good like this. And I am Chris Chan Sonichu, your goddess blue heart, and I continue to stand strong, and I maintain everything with Quickville and my Sonichus and Rose Shoes and everybody. You're lost about 3,000 people right now, Christian. How do you breathe?
Let's not talk to them, okay?
Yeah, I keep in good faith. Everything is going to work out.
Let's not talk to
Well,
them.
I feel, it's been stressful, but I've taken it one moment at a time, and I got my loves.
He is absolutely right that he has his loves with him, because I may have cut out some parts of the video here, but he brings up Magichan, Sylvana, Crizel, even Mewtwo quite a lot. And oh my god, it just hit me that I cut out the best part in this entire video. So we're gonna go back to that real quick, because while they were in the hotel room, Chris told the cops, he said, "Hey, do you feel something right now? Do you feel a certain force hitting your leg over and over again, kind of like a punch maybe?" I'm not doing a good job summing this up, but what Chris tells this cop is one of the funniest things I've ever heard.
By the way, if any of y'all has been feeling a punch-like sensation on your leg, that is my husband, Magichan Sonichu, right on the opposite side of the universe field. He's punching you all each, just a gentle punch, but you know he is here.
Okay.
Did you feel it? He punched you first.
Yeah, so I didn't, but
Punch him harder, hubby.
yeah. Hey, you good?
What a lunatic. So Chris tells the cop, "Do you feel that punching like sensation in your leg? That's my husband, Magichan Sonichu." Reminder, the reason he's punching this guy in the leg is because Magichan and the rest of the Sonichus are like 3 to 4 feet tall. Chris tells them this, in my opinion, because in his mind, like I brought up earlier, he always has to be in control. And now that he's not and he can't do anything to kind of fight off these evil jerk-ops, he's gonna be like, "Yeah, well, in my universe, you're currently getting just teed off on by a Sonichu right now." And when the cop informs him that he's not feeling anything, Chris, in the most devious way possible, goes, "Yeah, punch him harder, hubby. Like, come on, get it, Magichan. Just start fucking deliver some elbows, some 6-12s right there on his kneecap." But I don't just think he's saying this as like retaliation for these cops arresting him. I think he's also saying it to try to scare them a little bit, to put a little bit of fear into their hearts, and to let them know that he is one omnipotent ass motherfucker, and he has the power to have like beings like the Sonichus do this to these police officers, even when they're universes and dimensions away.
What? They're everywhere. I don't mean that. We're surrounded.
Go ahead, frisk me.
I'm searching you, not frisking you.
Well, he's offering you the option there.
What the heck is going on right now? This is freaking weird.
This is the most wild call for service I've ever been on.
Do you have anything else on you?
I have nothing else on me.
They're gonna scan you into jail, and if there's anything on you, you little back.
I understand.
A little nugget of weed is felony.
I have no weed, I have no drugs I'm consuming on me. Like I said, frisk me, there you go. That felt good!
This is that classic clip where Chris tells the cop that he can frisk him, and then when he feels like a little bit of a hand on his chest, Chris makes sure to let him know that that felt good. But the cop's reaction here, I've never seen it like that. I don't know if it's him being just kind of grossed out about the situation, or Chris's incredibly like high-pitched voice, but when Chris yells, "That felt good," the cop just snaps his head back real quick as to get away from Chris as soon as he can. Let's replay that real quick.
That felt good!
You gotta leave it up to Chris to make anybody and everybody who comes across him or has to deal with him in their daily life incredibly uncomfortable. This poor cop, he really did get like the short straw here, because all the other cops are sitting around kind of like rubbing shoulders, cracking up about this, whereas this dude is sitting there having to frisk on Chris. Brutal times. So now they put Chris Chan in the cop car and they drive him down to jail, and you might think this is where the video ends, but no, now we get another look into something we've never seen before, and it's Chris's conversation with the officer taking him to jail. And it's just as insane as you'd imagine it. I will ask you right now, think of like all the cartoon characters you've ever known in your life, you know, like the ones you've read in comic books, the ones you've seen on TV. Almost every single one of them, at least the more popular ones, are about to get brought up in like this 10 to 15 minute ride to the police station.
Oh, celebrity scandals, all of that. And people just taking it, blowing it out of the water.
Yeah, I got you.
Hey, and over a month from now, the next celebrity scandal is going to happen.
Okay.
And they'll be all over that.
All right.
You may recognize or know my comic books I have drawn over the years, and my chronicling and creations and discoveries of the Sonichu and Rosechu Pokemon species.
Yeah, 100%.
But the unusual day isn't over for the officer tasked with driving Chris to the police station, and as you'll witness, Chris has so much more left to share.
Celebrity scandals, all of that. And people just taking it, blowing it out of the water.
Yeah, I got you.
Hey, and over a month from now, the next celebrity scandal is going to happen.
Okay.
And they'll be all over that.
All right.
You may recognize or know my comic books I have drawn over the years and my chronicling and creations and discoveries of the Sonichu and Rosechu Pokemon species.
I'm not aware of that.
Okay, well, give you a little bit of homework for research on your own time, then that's okay.
Yeah.
Of course, Chris has to hit him with his tried and true, you may know me as the author of the Sonichu comics, and when this cop informs him that I don't even know what that is, Chris decides to give him a little bit of homework. It's hilarious thinking of the man handcuffed in a cop car telling the officer, all right, well, when you get home tonight, son, you're gonna have a little bit of homework. Because in his mind, this is something that everybody clearly has to know about, because when the dimensional merge happens, they'll basically be your new gods.
But essentially, I am a decent and good individual. I believe in everything that is right and positive, and I am literally a goddess, and that will be proven in the near days to come as we are on the completion of the dimension merge, where the universe half that was divided in 1380s by order of King Arthur. He ordered Merlin and 2 other magicians to remove and banish all dragons, unicorns, and other quote-unquote mythical creatures and overpowered individuals. And thus we were separated, transported into from what was originally called Universe 1C211987. You have everybody there. You have Superman, you have Mickey Mouse, you have Iron Man, you have Darkwing Duck, you have the Infinite Possibilities. You even have Ratchet and Clank. You have the Super Mario Brothers. And you have Sonic. You have Link. You have everybody. Everybody. You name it. They're there. And of course, especially Sonichus and Rosechus and all of the other Pokemon known and yet to be known in all of existence.
Jesus Christ, can you imagine what is going through that cop's head right now? I mean, the dude has to be lost when Chris was calling himself a goddess. And then he has to be even more lost when Chris is talking about the dimensions merging and King Arthur being the one to do it by summoning Merlin the magician to go split the dimensions in 1380. And Chris is making sure to tell this cop that in the coming days it will be confirmed that I am the one to merge these dimensions back together. Because again, as Chris just said, he's a goddess. Chris then goes on to name, as I brought up before, every single major cartoon character he knows, but always ends it on saying that it's especially about the Sonichus and Rosechus, because really, no other character even comes close to them. You can have your Supermans, you can have your Spider-Mans. Sonichu and Rosechu would kick all their asses. You ever seen that picture before of the entire Marvel universe, and then standing in front of them is Goku and Vegeta, and they're both like, hey, try not to hurt all these guys too bad, kind of implying that Goku and Vegeta could kick all their asses. Well, that's in Chris's mind. It's supposed to be Sonichu and Rosechu there. The cop starts to feed into it after a while, answering Chris's questions, and even kind of questioning him back on being what are the logistics of where Spider-Man can be and all that. This is a really interesting watch here in the last few minutes before Chris actually gets to the jail.
So you're saying Pokemon's are going to come back to this, where we're at right now?
Yes, and among others, like I said, if Batman let me ask you, who is your favorite superhero?
I'd probably go with Spider-Man.
He's going to come around. You're going to meet him.
All right, I can't wait.
I mean, if you're ever in New York, he's going to be swinging around there.
Why New York? Why only New York? Why can't he go wherever he wants?
Well, I mean, yeah, he can go because he's a Spider-Man. He does whatever a spider can. But also, I am particularly fond of and have great appreciation for the mentally capable and the psychic powered type of individuals. I have great respect for them, especially the good ones. Yeah, so I am married interdimensionally with my husband, Magic-chan Sonichu, and I am also married to Hannah. Now my brain went blank on the word there, but anyway, I am also polygamously married to Gazelle Roshu and Sylvana Roshu, and the one and only Mewtwo, the one that was cloned by Giovanni's team in Team Rocket as featured in the first Pokemon movie.
So Chris ends the ride with the police officer by telling him about his giant marriage situation, how he's married to Magichan, married to the one and only Mewtwo, the same one that was cloned by Giovanni's team and all that. You gotta make it known. You can't have people thinking that there's only, there's more than one Mewtwo, you know what I'm saying? Because in Chris's mind, he always talks about the dimensional merge, and it always seems like there's only one character of every character out there. You know, it's not like a Marvel situation where there's, different multiverses and different versions of characters. There's one Sonichu, the one and only Mewtwo, but I bet you these rules will get flipped on their head whenever Chris decides to see fit and he wants other versions of other characters inside his crazy little Quickville world. I mean, is this not one of the most insane body cam footages you've ever seen? Chris is just being Chris, and to the outside world, this has to be one of the most insane things anyone could watch. And even us, knowing who Chris is, knowing the dumb shit he does and has did, it's still shocking to see. You know, the whole thing about Magichan punching the cops and all this, it's something that you'd imagine Chris would say in the comfort of his own home or maybe on Twitter, but actually doing it there in front of all the cops shows Chris's defiance. He's like, listen, you may be taking me down right now and there's nothing I can do about it in this universe, but in my dimension, over in C197 or wherever, well, my boy Magichan is just raining heckle upon your legs right now. It's this whole thing really, from the drive there to show that Chris was just really trying to ingrain in this cop some Sonichu knowledge, tell him about superheroes and the dimensional merge. Even in the hotel room, he would bring this up a lot to the cops. It really seems like Chris, when any single person talks to him, no matter who they are, authority, someone in the streets, a worker at a shop, he'll always be sure to tell them about his crazy, insane world. And again, he's always done this. I remember there was a video, it was somewhere in Geno Samuel's documentary, where someone had posed as a girlfriend, and they knowingly told Chris this. They're like, hey, I'm gonna pretend to be a girl out on a date with you, and you try to communicate with me and we'll see how it goes. And within seconds, Chris started talking about the Sonichu comics and all that. It's his greatest life work. He'll never stop talking about it, no matter how dire the situation is. And even here, where I think deep down in his mind, he thought he'd be getting out of jail pretty quickly, but it wasn't like that. So even when he's scared, even when he's at his worst, he'll still talk about this shit because it really is just the end-all be-all in his daily life. But you see, that was over 3 years ago, and a whole lot has happened in that time. Chris got out of jail about a year back. He's been back on YouTube ever so sporadically, doing live streams and really just kind of tweeting when he wants to. He doesn't do much. He sits around and he's got a group of handlers that try to push him into making content and making arts and crafts and all that, but it's Chris. He's very lazy, and he only really is driven to do something when he thinks he'll get something in return. Which now brings us to the next part of the video, because I saw Chris's Twitter the other day, and he hit 100,000 subscribers here on YouTube. And this is a big accomplishment for Chris, and he was sure to tell YouTube immediately, you owe me a play button. It's not like, hey, thanks to all the 100,000 people that subscribe to me, you guys are awesome. Man, it means a lot that you guys love my stuff that much. You would come around here and subscribe. It's just, nope, you owe me that, YouTube. Give it up. Come on, give it now. I'm owed. Maybe I'm being too cynical, looking too much into this, because Chris has always kind of acted like this. But it just seems like a pretty dickish way to go about announcing your 100K subs. I could be wrong though. Another tweet that Chris put out a few days ago was him showing that he was reporting this random person's tweet, because clearly Chris did not like this very much. I believe the caption of this tweet is, when you like a post, when you don't like a post. So basically, in Chris's mind, when you like something, you give it a like. When you don't like it, you report it for either slurs and tropes or hateful content and stuff. And so I wondered, because I couldn't really get a good view of what this post Chris was reporting. What was it? What was so heinous that Chris felt that he had to go to Twitter themselves and be like, yo, Chris Chan, your goddess blue heart, I think this needs to be taken down, struck from the internet in all forms and facets. So I looked it up, and it's this. Maybe there's something going on here, and people are going to be like, oh my god, why are you showing this? But is it... What is this? It looks like a bunch of My Little Ponies in there. they're not really ponies anymore. Now they're like mermaids. And maybe this is what offends Chris so greatly. He's like, you know him. He likes things the exact way he wants them to be done. And what he wants is the 4th season or the 4th like iteration of My Little Pony back. And because these ponies are not that and they are like being turned into mermaids, sacrilege. Can't have it. Report that shit. Get it down. At least that's what I'm assuming here Chris is so mad about, because I don't know why that tweet would have been worthy of a report of something like hateful references and all that. Who knows? So this has been a wild one today, and it should have came out about a day earlier, but I apologize for that. The video is here now, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. This whole situation's been crazy, and considering this and the fact that Chris just hit 100k subs, might bring him back to streaming or doing something, but let's be honest here. If you followed Chris ever since he got out of jail, you know it's been more boring than ever, and it probably will just be him sitting there stress sighing while getting bombarded by hateful $2 donations. We've all seen it before, and we won't be surprised when it happens again. Nonetheless, when stuff does happen in Chris's life or there's any updates, I will be sure to update y'all here on the channel. Thank you guys for always sticking by and enjoying the content, and I will see you guys in the next one. Take care, everybody, and have a good rest of your summer. It's been a warm one, but it's ending soon, so get your ass out there, enjoy your days, man, and I will see y'all later. Take care, everybody.